but I didn't have no fucking money really. So, these were important to me to get off. I had to try to, make the money somersault and come back. And so it was important to flip them. And the last one I did, I'd put my last $1,000 that I had into this sprint job, and I go to pick them up, hyped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've already shown them to a couple people, already got a couple off.
Yeah.
They're fucked up.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yo, what up? It's your boy Rubino.
And this DJ in the building.
And you listening to the UpNUp Podcast.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we doing?
I don't know, just listen.
Yes. Welcome.
What it do?
Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned into the UpNUp Podcast. I'm your host, Rubino.
And I'm DJ man.
What's going on, boss?
What's going on?
You good?
Yep. I'm good, man. It's freezing, though. I ain't
know,
gonna lie.
man. I know. Winter's here.
Yeah.
Winter's upon us, man. But yeah, if this is your first time tuning in, this is the UpNUp Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. This is the podcast where we're focused on cultivating culture, right?
Yep.
Nothing more, nothing less, man. As simple as that, right? We're here to provide a platform and a space for individuals, groups, movements, right? People who are out here carving lanes, paving paths. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Kicking down doors, all that, right? For those coming behind them. Also, do want to make sure before we get things rolling here, always want to shout out the consistent supporters, right? The listeners, viewers. What do we call them over here, man?
Family,
right? Yeah, shout out to the family, man. They've been rocking with us for a while, man. So we definitely appreciate the encouragement you're giving us as well as the guests on this show. Make sure to reach out to them if you can, if you're able to, right? They're accessible, right?
Definitely.
Go pick their brains the way we're about to do it,
Yeah.
right? Now, if you want to continue supporting the podcast, you know what to do. You can find all the episodes on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, right?
Yep.
Just look it up. Go Google us, man. Whatever.
We're out here.
You'll find it. And if you want to continue supporting the platform as a whole, if you're not already following us, make sure to follow us on social media @_the UpNUp on all social media platforms. A lot of great things coming on the way.
A lot. Yeah.
We're going to close out this year strong.
Yeah,
Believe that.
definitely.
We're going to start 2020 for real.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're going to start it right.
Yeah, we're going to head into 2020 running.
I'm excited, man.
Sure.
2020 vision, baby. Outside of that, am I forgetting anything? Listener appreciation week.
Yes. We're coming up on 60.
Episode 60, right? Yeah, episode 60, Listener Appreciation Week is upon us. For those of you who do not know what Listener Appreciation Week is, it's a way for us to appreciate you, the listener, and we allow you to come up here and take over the show, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. To sum it up, you come over here and take over the show. You can just sit in Erm seat. You can sit in my seat. I don't care what you do. It's your show, and it's a way for us to thank you guys. But if you want to be able to make it to that point, all you got to do is go to @_ the UpNUp to the DMs and let us know what your favorite episode was and why. Simple as that. We'll pick a winner. You come up here and take over, right?
Yeah.
All right, man. Cool. Now, am I forgetting anything else?
Nah, man.
Can we get the show rolling?
Yeah, man. Let's get it going.
Yeah. All right, man. So if this is your first time tuning in, like I said, we're here to provide a space to talk about people who are carving lanes, right? In a real way, an authentic way, and we're here to provide context to how they carve those lanes, right?
Yeah.
Nothing's overnight, right? It's all about the grind. And today's guest, I would say, is definitely a person whose grind and work ethic is a representation of true independence and what it means to invest in yourself, right? And invest in your dreams. I would say he's definitely a hardworking cultivator of culture and fashion. I would say fashion for sure. Who's keeping everything he's doing on the up and up, right? And he's here with us tonight to kick it and drop some gems, drop some science on us, right?
Yeah.
All that. To give you some insight on the work the brother's been doing, he is the owner and creative director of established and successful clothing manufacturing company This That, which has been established since 2011, man, right?
Yeah.
So they've been out here really servicing clients and brands with their number one mission, which is getting it right.
Yeah.
Right? They got to get it right.
Yeah.
Especially if you're working in the clothing industry, you got to get it right.
For sure,
Can't
man.
mess up.
Yeah.
Let's just get straight to him, man. Our guest is none other than the ultimate hustler himself, Eric Hodgins. Can we get a round of applause for the brother?
Yeah.
How you doing, boss?
Good, man. What's up?
Man, we good, man. We good. Thank you for coming to the show.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, man.
For sure, man. Appreciate you.
Thought we about to talk about some hustling right now, man.
Yeah, for real.
Let's get to it. The way we start off our shows, obviously we do a quote of the day, right? Get the vibe right, get the mood right, get the conversation started. So, Ern, what you got for us, man? What's the
All right,
quote?
man. So the quote of the day today is, "The time where people adapt to clothing is over. This is a new era where clothes adapt to people." Yeah.
Run that back for me, my bad.
Yeah.
I was
It's all good.
I was zoning out.
All right. So the quote is, "The time where people adapt to clothing is over. This is a new era where clothes adapt to people."
Who said that?
My guy, Yusaku Meizawa. Yeah, he's like a Japanese billionaire, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
He knows what he's talking about, though.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
For sure.
I like that.
You know,
He said
I
the
like
clothes
that too.
adapt to the people.
Yeah.
That's dope. Okay, go ahead, quote man.
Come on, man.
I see you, man.
You know?
Coming through.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we bring in the quotes that, obviously get a great conversation started, but they also tie into the guests and, what they're doing and what they're pushing and what they're providing. But before we get into everything you're currently doing with your company and your brand, I definitely want to take it back a little bit and kind of get to the, to the bottom and where it started. Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up on the South End, Puyallup, Tacoma.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Went to Puyallup High School back late 90s, so ended up moving up to Seattle. Burien, actually. I moved to Burien in 98, 99.
Okay.
And then been in Seattle ever since.
Okay.
Until recently, I just moved back to Tacoma.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What was some of your early interests and stuff when you was growing up?
Man, always sneakers. I've been a
Yeah.
sneakerhead forever.
Yeah.
Back before the resale game was crazy.
Yeah.
It was more about, the hunt and helping people find shit, actually. It
Yeah.
wasn't all about competition and just resale. So,
Yeah.
music, of course, been a big influence in clothing. I mean, I remember, you buy the Nautica button up and try to trade it with your homie. So, you both get one, that kind of stuff. So, all that shit, man. I don't know where I'd be without that,
Yeah.
So,
It's definitely had an influence on all of us, bro. I think people don't give fashion enough credit for how it shapes the way you just see the world, right? Not the way you dress, but just the way you see the world.
Yep.
The way you see yourself. You know what I mean? For real.
Yeah.
That's big.
Even now, all the brands that are coming back that we haven't seen since the 90s or the 2000s or whatever it is,
Yeah.
making a comeback. It's just crazy too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love seeing that.
Yeah.
I mean, brands don't die. They take naps, like I said. They don't die, though, man. You can definitely wake them back up, for sure, you know?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, growing up out here and being heavily influenced by fashion, like you said, sneaker culture, did you, when it came to your hobbies and things you did, would you say, because right now you're a hustler, you're a grinder, just from what I know,
100%.
what we can see.
Yep.
But were you always like that? Were you always just trying to figure out how to just get it, or did that come over time, or how did you develop that?
It started early. I actually worked for this dude in construction one time, man. This dude was 60 years old, but he would beat me in every day. He would go home after me. I tell him I'm going to break, and he would just look at me crazy, and it just. I just decided, I was like, no way this dude's going to outwork me.
Yeah.
There's just no way.
Yeah.
And so he really got me with the work ethic I needed to be able to do this. He was one of the most humble dudes, but also one of the richest dudes I ever met in real life. And so I was like, fuck, if he could do this shit, and this is how it's done.
Yeah.
So I seen that in when I was 20 years old. So that kind of drove me to be if you outwork everybody, man, only good things can happen.
That's facts.
So
That's facts.
That's just kind of learned that early, and then it stuck with me ever since. I preach that down to my guys that work with me. We just want to be the best at what we do, and that's something I've been competitive in anything forever.
Okay.
So
That's
now
sports. You played sports growing up?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can tell.
And I thought, I did not want to lose to nobody for nothing.
Yeah.
That came to playing cards, basketball, whatever. It's I ain't losing.
I feel you.
So then when you get in business, man, you have that mentality. It's the same thing, really, right? It's I ain't gonna lose.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
I'll do whatever that takes. So
No, that's real.
yeah. So that's kind of where all that came from.
That's real. That's real. And I think everybody, you kind of have to reflect and look at your experiences and how it shaped you.
100%.
You know what I mean? I think sometimes people you might be surprised if you go back and connect some dots.
Yep.
You feel me? That's
Yep.
It's important.
Yeah, I feel if you get lazy too, you know what I mean? That's the biggest killer to a lot of brands and people trying to do something, you know what I mean? People get lazy.
No, I watch people think it's gonna be overnight success all the time. And I got a design that's hot. It still take work to move 50 of them.
Exactly.
Just because it's that. And so I just watch people that have good ideas that don't work fall apart all the time. You know, and so and you can see it. You can see it when they walk in. You can tell when they go out and try to hustle it. It's just not them.
Yeah.
They just want that shit they seen on Instagram or whatever. You know, somebody popped and they're like, I could do that.
Exactly.
And they don't want to put the hard work behind it. So
That's real.
Yeah.
That's real. It starts early. It starts early.
Very
for sure.
early. Yeah.
Now being a hard worker and then applying yourself to something that like you said, like a business is two separate things, right? Because there's people out here who just grind, but like they don't know how to like take that grind and that work ethic and maybe do it efficiently, right? And make it benefit for themselves. At what point were you looking at taking your work ethic and then making it work for you in a sense and not for someone else?
So that came even working for that same dude, man, watching him run his own shit. I just seen how he could do it. And so I just knew I didn't want to be in construction. I didn't want to do, a warehouse job or a food job. So, it just started out, I would start drawing shit or, get on my computer, start making shit. And and so when you're doing it for yourself, it's just way different, right?
Yeah.
And so when you see that early, it's just, that's what I want. I don't want nobody telling me I was 10 minutes late.
Yeah.
Walking in and saying, you're 10 minutes,
Yeah.
that wasn't the life for me at all.
Yeah.
And I knew that from the early age. Like, that just wasn't, I wasn't going to fit into that atmosphere. I wasn't an office dude. I just couldn't.
And there's nothing wrong with accepting that, like, that's not me.
No, I shout out to everybody that's a 9-to-5 office guy. Like, that's dope. You know what I mean? But I didn't go to college. I don't got no skill like that, in an education like that. So it came down to me outworking the dude that was smarter next to me, So I had to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do what worked for you.
I had to make it work for me.
Whatever works for you, works for you.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. So how did you start getting into like? When did you start really pinpointing like clothing? This is the route I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even before I did I went to like fashion design school. There was a little one down in Ballard called New York Fashion Academy, I think.
Yeah.
And I just got into making my own shit. I thought it was dope. It was when you were out shopping, you'd always see something, but it wasn't quite right. Or it wasn't just, fuck, I wish they did that. Or, you know what I mean? I wish they didn't do that.
Yeah.
So I thought, man, if I could ever get to make my own shit, I think, that would be dope. Just to rock, give it to the homies.
Yeah.
It wasn't even about a business at that point. It was just more about, like, I wanted to wear some shit I didn't see out when I went out at night,
Be the only one, exclusive.
Yeah, the one-on-one kid, absolutely.
I feel you. Yeah, bro.
And so I went to that, learned how to sew, do patterns, grading, everything. And that was a big change for me because then I could see that you could actually make a business somehow. Whether it was going to be a fashion designer, whether it was going to be a graphic designer or something. There was an avenue for me that I fell in love with. So that's kind of what started it all. And it was crazy. All the homies laugh. You sewing or because this was a long time ago. People wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
You the only dude in the whole school. It was all women in the school. So it was different. It was different for sure. I'm making fucking dresses and ball gowns at fashion school.
Yeah.
And, so it just got different. But I learned some skills and techniques that have carried with up to today. I still fuck around and make something. So, yeah.
No, that's crazy
Damn, that's
too.
dope.
I think that's interesting you say that. At the time that you were doing it, the environment was predominantly
different.
it was different,
It was a little
and like
different.
the nowadays you tell people you're a designer, they're looking at you like, oh,
Ooh.
Yeah, for real.
you see Kanye screaming about designs, you're like, oh, you like Kanye, like but before this is pre-Kanye, this is pre all that, you know. This is so that's real, bro. That's real that you were able to be in that environment and still thrive,
I appreciate it.
Sometimes I could scare some people and be like, nah, man, this ain't for me.
And they did. I mean, I walked in the first day and I was like, fuck, what am I doing here? I was like,
where the homies at?
Yeah. I was like, everybody gonna think I'm here just to holler at the chicks, And I was like, ain't no one taking me serious.
That was me in my yoga class, bro. First time I did yoga, bro. I was the only guy in there.
And you're like, they look at you funny.
I was like, hey, man, where else am I supposed to look?
Yeah, that's what, exactly.
You
So
know what I mean?
I think the teachers didn't take me serious at first. They were, what are you trying to make? Kind of shit. And
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
man. So then I hit them with a bunch of shit, and they were like, oh, okay, he actually know what he want to do with this.
Yeah.
So,
That's big.
Yeah, so that was cool. That was very cool.
That's big.
Yep.
That's big. So I guess what was the like knowing you're talented at something and you got skills to do it. Like obviously you went to school for it, but then like to say, man, I'm about to just invest my money into this. It makes it get more serious. When did that happen? Like when was that decision made? Like, all right, this is the company. This is what we're doing.
Nah,
I'm rolling it out.
So I used to. Me and you have talked about this before.
Yeah.
So I used to make T-shirts. And go to other print shops to get them made. I used to do designs, have T-shirts printed, and go sell them, out the trunk or whatever to the homies, whoever would buy one actually, But I didn't have no fucking money really, so these were important to me to get off. I had to try to make the money somersault and come back, and so it was important to flip them. And the last one I did, I'd put my last $1,000 fucking that I had into this print job, and I go to pick them up, hyped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've already shown them to a couple people. Already got a couple off.
Yeah.
They're fucked up, and I'm like, no.
No way.
Yeah. And I look at the dude. I was like, yo, these are all fucked up. He was like, nope. That's on you. Your artwork was bad, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, why wouldn't you say something then? You know, like, why didn't you tell me that before you just ran them all?
Yeah.
He was like, that's not our job. And I was just like, you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, for real.
And obviously, he had no idea what situation you were in.
Nah,
you know?
at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so he basically just told me, hey, it is what it is. And I just looked at him. I was like, fuck, I'm broke. I got a box full of shit I can't sell. I was dead set from that second. I was like, I'm going to learn how to do this shit. I'm going to do it myself. Ain't nobody going to, like, dictate how I get to move things. I knew I could already do some designing, so I was just like, yo, I'll do this shit. I just got to figure out how to print it now. So that was the day it started.
Wow.
That was the day it started.
See, that's a real moment that you can reflect on, you know? And I think, because there's a lot of people out here who go through stuff, right? Where it seems like it's the end of the road. It seems like the world is ending. Everything's falling on them, you know what I mean? To get into your mentality when at that moment, like, so you can give some people some tips and advice. What were some things you did to kind of keep you focused, even though, like, the situation was bad, but it was like, how did you kind of like maintain that traction where you're like, all right, let's just keep moving forward?
I mean, it almost comes back to what we talked about earlier, being competitive, or that work ethic was just like, I will learn how to do this. It was something I wanted to continue doing, but I didn't want to rely on other people anymore. So you just, that's what keeps you going, man. I used to go home and do tutorials on Illustrator every night on my laptop.
That's real.
So I didn't go to, again, I didn't have any schooling. I didn't have anything. So I sit at night and do them at night. They got free ones all over the internet. So, that's why sometimes it's tough when somebody comes up and they, well, I don't know how to do this shit. Yeah, it's all out there. You just got to be willing to spend your night doing that.
You're telling the wrong guy, buddy.
Yeah, literally, though. So I don't really feel bad for when guys, yeah, you decide to go out to the bar or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I sat home and did 3 hours of tutorials. Like, there's a difference. And so
that's a fact.
That's how I knew, and like that's what I started on. I just was like, I am gonna learn how to do this because it was something I loved. It was something I wanted to continue. And I couldn't risk having somebody else's hands get in my way. Of what I wanted. So So that was kind of that's kind of how it went about that. Yeah.
And then all right, so you go off. You're like, all right, I'm about to do this, make it myself. So what were like some of the early challenges, I guess, you went through when you were trying to make that happen?
All kinds. So I had actually talked a homie into starting that with me. We had met about some other shit. We were going to try and start this website for a different idea we had, but it always circled back around to this print shop.
Yeah.
Like, let's do it. So we're sitting at coffee one day, trying to navigate this other website, and next thing I know, we're on fucking Craigslist looking for screen print equipment. We found a press down in Portland that we could afford. We called the homie, asked to borrow his van. Literally that
Finessing
weekend.
Right there.
That weekend we went down there and jammed that shit in the van and drove it back up. We rented an office space. It was called Active Space, Workspace, something right over here in West Seattle.
Okay.
But they were offices.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're like little office joints.
Yeah.
But you didn't have to sign a lease, and they were somewhat affordable.
Like
so,
month to month or
month
something?
Month to month, but no lease. And so we got in one of those. It was about like 200 square feet, 250 square feet, something like that, tiny. We put it up in there. I mean, this shit was so small, you used to spin the press, and it would hit the dude in his back if he was at the desk.
Wow.
Yeah, like you couldn't do both. You couldn't do both. And so we did that, but as far as like problems, man, so I had a friend that had a clothing line.
Yeah.
He came to me, he's like, yo, I heard you're printing now, which we weren't really. We were still trying to learn, figuring it. But of course, I'm like, we print,
of course.
Yeah,
of course.
printing,
Yeah.
And so he was like, yo, I got a clothing line. You want to do a run for us? So I talked to the homie that started with me, and I was like, yo, this will probably pay our month rent, right here if we do this one job.
Yep.
So we took it on everything, man. We didn't know how to print a hoodie to save our life. We couldn't figure it out. So it's a little different technique than a tee. So we knock out the tees, man. He had a stack of hoodies. We fucked up every single one of them, man. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
We used to run back up in White Center, man, 'cause we're on Delridge. So, we'd go up to White Center. There's a little Korean store up there that used to sell all styles, like blank hoodies, for like cheap or whatever.
Yeah.
So we'd fucking run up there and grab 10 more, and we'd run back down and try it again. Then I had to give him back to him. I was like, bro, I can't even do a hoodie. I don't know how.
Wow.
He was like, bro, you say you print.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you know, we getting it. We getting it, though.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Yeah. That's still just jumping out there and be like, yeah, I got you. Let's do it.
I had to, though. I wanted to.
It can go either way.
It
you
could've
know,
went either
you might
way.
realize I can do hoodies really well, or you might realize I don't know how to do hoodies.
I don't know how to do them at all.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So you got to try.
So that was a rough lesson. You know what I mean? That was one of the things fuck. That was embarrassing.
Yeah,
that was embarrassing.
It's cool. Yeah,
that was
now
embarrassing. But
cool.
it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
So what did that do? It pushed you to go and learn how to make hoodies. You know, so that was one of the lessons early. You know, look, the amount of money and time it takes is something I don't think people take into consideration, really. I mean, we were literally working day jobs 8 hours a day and then going and printing 4, 6, 8 hours at night trying to learn this shit, trying to do this dude's order, you know. And that included in weekends. So it was like we really gave up everything. Like, we didn't have no personal lives. We wanted the shit to pop. We wanted to quit our day jobs. Is what it came down to. And so, you know, it's just, you got to be dedicated to it enough to be willing to do that. That's for me. That's the only way it was gonna work for me. I wasn't gonna. Nobody was gonna hand me this shit and tell me it was good. I wasn't gonna go learn anything. I couldn't buy anything else to make me better at it. It was like, yo, you just got to put in hours. And that's what we decided to do.
Got to.
Yeah, and it was rough. It was fucking rocky. You were tired. You know what I mean? It wasn't ideal, but. You know,
but you
10
grew,
years,
but you
9
grow.
years later, we got a shop. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
You grow from that.
You grow 100% from that.
I think
For real.
I think the biggest thing is like, there's a lot of people who just go through life, walk through life, and they're not really challenging themselves, and they're consciously knowing that they're not challenging themselves.
They're comfortable.
Comfortable,
You
right?
know, and that's a crazy.
I was thinking about this earlier today. I was just like, some people's goal is to be comfortable and to have stability.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, then that means you don't want to grow.
Exactly.
Like, in my opinion, that's how I see it. Like, if your goal is to be comfortable and stable,
You
just think about those two
grow.
words, bro. You're not trying to grow.
Nope.
Yeah, you don't want to move. You're just
and
And again, that's for
dope.
some people. You know what I mean? I never knocked out somebody. You know, if that's you, that's you.
Yeah, exactly. Get what you want.
Yeah, but man, that's a dangerous spot to get caught. Is that comfortable zone?
Yeah.
That's dangerous for us.
Yeah,
you know.
bro.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, that's real. And you can't, like, at the same time, I think sometimes people are trying to live stable and live comfortably, but mentally you can't be comfortable. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got to always be trying to
do something.
level up.
Yeah, do
you know
something.
what I mean?
Exactly.
Some people have big dreams, but they're not trying to live
They're
the
just
life
dreams.
it takes. Yeah,
They're
live the
just
life
dreams.
it takes. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
So,
real. That's real.
What was how'd you guys come up with the name? That. I think that's kind of clever, bro. Like,
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
we was again, naming a company is hard.
Man,
it's
we've
fucking
been there.
hard.
We've been there, bro.
Like, you know, and then you think of some companies that are out there, and it's crazy. They just become names at some point, right? You don't even put the actual words together. It's just a name, you know?
Yeah.
So we bounced around, and we wanted, you know, do we want to be Seattle something? Do we want to be, you know, Print something? And we just couldn't fucking come up with anything, you know? And I guess the more we kind of like, okay, cool, what are we going to be doing? You know, trying to figure it out, you know? And so we list shit. We were, you know, services or types of products we were going to do. And then it just popped one day, man. It was, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, you know? And I was like, yo. You know, like, wait a minute, is that too stupid? You know, like, we looked at each other, I was like, is that too stupid to just be that and short and just call it this, that? And we sat on it, right? We were like, all right, fuck, we'll sit on it. We'll see, we'll just sit on it. And so, you know, and then once we had this, that, then we were like, well, what about left, right? Or what about, you know, we started coming up with all the other dumb shit that was like that, you know, trying to figure this out. But, you know, we came back. That just sat with us. It was dope. It was one, it was unique. We thought it would catch people's kind of like interest. Because like this, that, what is that?
Exactly.
You know?
Makes you curious.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and it didn't, and then two, we liked it because it never boxed us into whatever we were doing. We literally could do anything with that name.
Yeah.
So if the print shop didn't work, we could be a creative agency called this, that, or we could be a, you know, whatever. It's we like the options of leading that open and not saying, you know, screen printing or, you know, whatever. So that's kind of how we came up with it. So
that's dope, bro. Yeah, I feel like that's important for like people to hear too, cause like some people even coming up with the name, how you're thinking about printing and this and that. It's kind of like you box yourself, so you
just box
really,
yourself.
Yeah, you know what I mean, and it makes it a little more harder.
It does,
but,
especially if you want to grow and like, you know, we all have a very this is what we're gonna do. You have that idea until you get going, right?
Shit changes real quick.
Shit changes quick, and that's
yeah.
something else people don't, you know. So you just like, fuck. Now my name says this, you know, and you've already spent all this money on business cards or your website, and so then you're just stuck. So if you are thinking about a name, I always, you know, come up with something that doesn't just necessarily box you in. it just leaves you room to grow.
Exactly.
It gives you some other ideas, some other avenues you can explore later on.
Exactly.
When, you know, you can stay focused on your main thing, but you might want to branch off and start something a little off the side or whatever.
Exactly.
That way you can keep them all together.
There's always room for interpretation. That's the best way to have it. You know, people can interpret it and think, what is this?
What does that mean? Yeah.
That's smart. I like that. Now I also want to get into like kind of the scale up, right? Of this, that. You know, you guys were kind of like out the storage unit with it. You know
Basically,
what I mean?
yep.
And I'm assuming you guys obviously were, you know, getting business going, getting clients and things like that. At what point did you feel like, because this is 2011 when you guys started, right?
Yeah.
I guess what year would you say is when you guys made that leap to the next level where you're like, okay, we got to get a bigger space. You know, we got our own space now.
Yep. So so right now we're in our third space.
Okay.
So we moved from active space, the little office. You know, that was only about 6 months because we did end up figuring out how to print hoodies, and we did figure out how to get a couple other clients. And you know, it was right around the time. So this is really kind of the big start for us, which is crazy to look back on. In 2011, there was a tsunami in Japan. It was crazy.
Yep.
We ended up printing a shirt. We made a design for the Red Cross to raise money for them. And that's what really took off, man. We ended up selling like 1,000 T-shirts or something crazy, you know, and that's kind of what got us on the map as far as like other people reaching out to us.
Wow.
And you know, so we donate all the money. We kind of had a little bit of like, you know, a little bubble going, and so we were like, yo, let's quit our jobs and go for it. That was kind of where we decided it was time. You know, we had a little something going, and it was time. It was finally time. So we found a spot on Delridge. It was next to a bar. It was kind of a crazy like shape. It wasn't really a cool spot, you know. It was, but it was gonna work. It was gonna allow us to buy one more press so we could have two in the back. I mean, when we first started, we didn't have enough business, man. In the front, there was a couch and an Xbox, and you know, like the cool little spot. Like, 'cause we didn't even have work, man. We used to have, we called them fuck around Fridays because we never had nothing to do. You know, like that's real. So, you know, we was doing trick shots off the hoop on the door, you know, shit like that all Friday, and then we'd make some like one-off shit or whatever. Because we just wasn't busy.
That's dope.
And so that was the first time we needed to grow, was that very first one to like establish us just as a business, man. And the old spot, we were meeting people at coffee shops because we didn't even want them to see the room we were printing out of, you know, because it was embarrassing. It just wasn't even real.
Yeah.
And so once we got into Delridge, man, we started to cook a little bit. I knew a couple other people with clothing lines, you know, in the area. We started hitting, you know, the bar next door needed joints. So like we just started like kind of, you know, it was growing a little bit. We made a ton of mistakes. You know, we bought bad equipment. Everything we bought off it was Craigslist, so you know it was hit and miss. But we'd have, you know, we'd go and buy like a lot of shit on Craigslist. You know, a printer and a dryer and blah blah blah, and we'd keep like the one or two things we needed and then flip everything. You know, and try to like flip it back for something
just
else.
keep finessing it.
And so we did that for a long time, and it was hit and miss, right? So that's when we knew we were out of there for like, man, I bet we were there 3-4 years. 3 years.
That's a solid run.
It was a solid run. It was perfect. I think we signed a 3-year lease or whatever, and once it was up, it was up. It was kind of like, we need to actually go again. You know, and it was cool. We had murals on the walls. It was a dope spot. We had an opening party. It was live. Like that first one was our spot. Like I still miss that one. Like if I ever could, I'd like to go back and just like set it up again, but not work there. You know what I mean? Like just have it, just to have it. So then we moved to Georgetown. We need a little more space. We need a little more equipment. So this is when we started deciding to like really invest in the company. By this time, actually, let me rewind. Sorry. So at this time, man, at Georgetown, my business partner that I started with, see, this guy was super smart. He was a graphic designer, super smart, but he was a single dad. He had full custody of his son. It got hard, man. It was stress. It goes back to the hours. It was stressful on him. You know, it started to become a little uneven as far as like, yo, I gotta go get my son, but this job's due. You know, so he was feeling a type of way about it. So he ended up splitting, man. I kind of told him, I was like, yo, you could go work for Amazon right now and make 100 racks. You know, like you sitting here sweating with me, like, you know. And I said, I appreciate you, but like your real move for your family is that. You know, and so he ended up going when we left Elridge. He ended up going, and we're still homies to this day. You know, we have fam Fridays, we go over and eat dinner, whatever. He's the homie for sure. And he's at Amazon making 6 racks. You know, it's 6 figures. So he's good. He's good. So when we moved, so then it was time now, like it was on me. And so I kind of decided, yo, this was the time to push. This was like, let's go. You know, like I don't want to be this size. I want to go for a minute. So we invested in some like automatic printing equipment.
Yeah.
We started getting into embroidery, and just really like, you know, it was just time. So we moved to a bigger space, same customers. You know, it was kind of cool. We got to watch some smaller customers grow with us.
Yeah.
You know, some brands that started off doing 24, now they're doing 100, you know, or whatever. So they were helping us grow and we were helping them. So that was always dope. And then, we just kind of took off, man. We ended up getting some crazy contracts with like Boeing. We did some shit for the Seattle Mariners once. We did.
Damn.
Yeah, it was wild. You know, when you start meeting people like you don't
Yeah.
even think you were going to meet.
But when
in
it starts
business.
happening, I'm sure you're like, yeah, we earned this shit.
Oh,
Like,
we
yeah,
definitely,
you know, like,
One time, no, and my guys, like, so my guys have been with me forever, and that's rare in this business. Is there's usually like high turnover in the printing, you know, the screen printing business. But all my guys have been with me since the very beginning.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and that's just treating them right. You know what I mean? But it's a real family down at work. Like, we're all very, very close. Do whatever it takes, kind of guys. You know?
Yeah.
So and then bigger contracts. We got to the spot, man. We looked at each other, and I was like, "Yo, I think we got to go again."
Yeah.
You know, it was just time. We were kind of working on top of each other. Boxes were filling up the area where clients were supposed to be sitting. You know what I mean? And it just looked like, you know, it was just too much. We were like literally spilling out the place.
Yeah.
So then that's when we just moved. Right now was down into South Park.
Okay.
So again, we doubled.
Yeah.
And now we have like our own offices. We never even had an office in the
Yeah.
old one. We had a desk out on the production floor. We kind of boxed off with some shit, you know?
Yeah.
And so now, we did it again. And again, it was just time to go. So we bought some more equipment. We still catered to some of our clients while still gaining new ones.
Yeah.
And again, it's just a hustle. It's a practice, you know?
Yeah.
You don't want to lose them once you get them. You know, that's just a shout out for anybody doing business. Once you get a client, it costs too much money to go get a client. You know, there's a lot of money involved that people don't think about.
Sure, yeah.
So once you get them, man, you just want to treat them right. And so that takes, you know, good work ethic, great product.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you do fuck up, so it's how you handle them when it comes up.
There you go.
Exactly.
You know, that's
Yeah.
huge for people if they're trying to learn about that. Is like, you're gonna fuck up.
How did you early on? How did you deal with that when you may have messed up on someone's stuff and then like you had to keep them calm and let them know, yo, I got this.
I got this. And so it all went back to why I started the business, right? That dude handed me the box and said, yeah, it's on you. I wasn't going to do that to someone else.
That's real.
And I didn't care what their position was because I knew it could have been the same as mine or whatever. And so we always made it right, no matter what, man. I've eaten jobs where I didn't think I should have. You know what I mean? And been like, this motherfucker. You know, like, all right, bro, I got you. You know, and I would do it.
It's good karma.
Yeah, and it does. It comes back around. So we would do that. Sometimes they were on us, and that's 100% on us. So we'll fix them for free and get them back, right? You know, rush them back out to people.
Yeah.
So that's just a matter of, like, how I wanted to run a business, how I wanted my guys to see how a business is ran.
Yeah.
You know, just because I do. I think it is good karma. And I think it's important to be able to stand behind your work, right? Because if you're just shooting off shit and you tell a guy, oh, it's whatever, you don't care about your business at all. You know, and they can see it, and then that word gets around that, yo, you know, he's cool, but he don't care about no business.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I just thought about something. Because I think the line of work you're in, right, you can call it behind the scenes, right, which is what people will probably think. And so I feel like maybe some vendors, they're like, oh, I'm behind the scenes. Nobody care. Nobody going to see me. Nobody's going to know. But people don't know. It's like, word travels, bro. You know, people will talk about you in front of the scenes. You know what I'm saying? And so it seems like you do a good job of protecting that reputation.
I definitely
even though
try
people
to.
probably don't know what you guys look like or who you guys are, right?
I definitely try to. And again, you know, there might be people out there that don't like us. You know, I just haven't heard of it.
I don't know. I haven't met
you
them.
know, and so and that's just a goal of mine. You know,
Yeah.
and I tell people all the time, hey, if you're not happy, come talk to me. Like, you know,
right.
but don't take the shit home and then tell everybody you don't like it, or, you know, like,
Yeah,
let's
don't go
talk
make a
about
Facebook
it.
post and shit.
Yeah, this motherfucker, you know, on the keyboard warrior, you know, talking about it. I'm like, yo, just
Keyboard
tell
warrior.
me. Yeah, get out of here.
Keyboard warrior.
Yeah.
Nah, I think it's kind of dope though, cause you went through that, so now you could like potentially save like a lot of people from going through the same thing. You know what I mean? I feel like that's like that really gives like like some good ass integrity. You know what I mean? Like,
there you go.
Yeah, we try.
You can't buy that. You cannot buy that shit. In
I
business.
feel like that's the most important thing, you know, because like there's a lot of printers out there. There's a lot of different type of people, but it's almost like human, bro. Like, you really care about the people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's why I
That's
really.
real.
That's why I fuck with y'all. You know?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
That's
Yeah.
respectable, man. And now, I'm sure like all of us in here, we know a lot of people who may want to go into the clothing industry, right? And want to start their own clothing brands. Some who probably already have clothing lines right now, currently, who were listening and watching. Do Do you have some advice for like what they should be focused on early on, like when they're like just launching? Because obviously you guys handle the garments and whatnot, you know, and I'm pretty sure you probably dealt with people who are like trying to be all up in the business and like, yo, what he's like, yo, just go do you.
Yeah,
go
you do
market,
you, we
go
do us.
brand.
Yeah, we'll do us.
But what is some advice you have for people who are starting out who may just don't know how to like be a little hands off when it comes to that type of stuff?
You know, one of the things I noticed the most, sometimes you can tell when a design's not authentic, right? You could tell it's not them, but it's the hype or it's the trend. And I'll never suggest you start a brand like that, ever. Like if you don't believe in it, ain't nobody else gonna.
I've seen that.
We
see
can
that
tell,
all the time.
and you can just tell. And then I don't know if they think we can't, but like you can see that from a mile away. So I think people, if you wanted to start a brand, man, be passionate about something, stick in a lane of design that you're really comfortable with or that you really fuck with, because again, people that notice.
Yeah.
You know, and I just
real.
don't think it's just not a longevity move.
Yeah.
You might be able to get off a couple right now because it is hot, but you're never gonna follow that up.
Yeah.
You know, because one, you don't have an idea of your own, so now you're just waiting for the next trend to copy. You know, and that's just, I don't know, man. For me, that's not a way to do it at all.
Yeah.
No, I feel you.
I think too is I see a lot of people go big. They think they got a heater, you know, and oh man, let me get 200 of these. And it's like, man, you know how hard it is to get off 200 of these? Like, you ain't gonna.
Yeah.
For real.
Nah, and I don't care how many homies you got. Like, you just ain't gonna.
That's real.
And so, you know, if you're gonna do it, man, start slow. There's no reason not to have your website say sold out, you know, or whatever. Do 24 of them.
Yeah.
Get them off. And then if people love them, man, run it back or something, you know.
Exactly.
But I do see people come in and they just want to ball out and they want to, you know, let me do all these. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. How do you like not chime in like, yo, hey man.
Yo, it's tough.
Yeah.
No, it's tough.
Because probably some people like, man, just make the shirts, bro.
I used to do it in the beginning, man. I learned this shit in the beginning. I used to do it in the beginning, and somebody bring me like, you know, and I shouldn't say this, but somebody bring me a terrible design. Terrible. You know, and I'd look at it and I'd be like, yo, you sure you want to run that? You know? And I was like, you know, whether it hurt their feelings or not, I was just like, yo, I just even felt bad taking the money, you know? And then I came to a conclusion, man, if that dude's happy enough, or woman, you know, if they're happy enough to come in and say it's finished, who am I?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just might not be my style.
Exactly.
It might not be who I fuck
Subjective.
with. Yeah, and so if they've worked on this shit long enough to be like, yo, I have money and here's my art, like, that's you know, and that's dope. So I don't really get involved in that no more. And I'm damn sure not going to tell somebody they can't sell 200. I have mentioned to people I think it's hard.
Yeah.
You know, but again, I don't know your network. You know, and so
that's real.
What's hard for somebody might be easy for somebody else, but
yeah.
So I try to, I'll definitely tell somebody. I'll be like, it's hard to get 200 off, you know, or whatever. And you know, a lot of times people, oh really? And, you know, and then we can kind of back them down into something more comfortable.
Yeah.
Or dude's confidence says, yo, no, let's rock.
That's how you build relationships, man.
It is.
What are some of like, okay, like let's say I got a brand or whatever, and I'm like, all right, I'm looking for somebody to print my stuff, and I come to you. What are like some of the questions you ask me, kind of like the guidelines, like do you have this, or what do you know, what's kind of like the format of that combo?
For you coming in, want to start something?
Like I'm like, hey, I want some hoodies or shirts or whatever, you know?
Yeah, so we typically will start off with, you know, asking if you have artwork.
Yeah.
And let's take a look at that, you know, make sure it's artwork ready to go into production. And if not, that's something we definitely help people with. Second, I try to find out who your demographic or who your customer base is going to be, because that's going to depend on what kind of blank you wear, what kind of hoodie you want, you know, the fit, the feel, all that. So, because, you know, a lot of people don't know, but there's hundreds of wholesalers, you know, and so there's crazy options. Everybody knows the main couple, but there is a lot of options. So yeah, I would try to dive into like, you know, what your price point's going to be, who you thought you was going to sell them to. And then that way we can kind of start finessing you towards like the right product. Because I think that's just as important sometimes as the design, is if it fits on the right product. At least for me, you know, because I want it to fit right, you know. I don't care how dope it is. If it don't fit me right, I ain't buying it.
Like,
that's
it's like
facts.
the feel,
Yeah, I put shit back and been like, damn, I wanted that one
it's
too.
Everything,
yeah,
man.
and so like we try to help people with that, because that's something. Not everybody. A lot of people don't think about that, you know?
Yeah.
We would talk about size breakdown. Again, that goes to your clientele. You know, like small, medium, large, XL, double X. You want to run 5X, like, you know, whatever. So we definitely try to help people with that, because there's some kind of basics, some commons, you know, that we can apply to it to help.
Yeah.
So just shit like that.
I feel you, bro. Yeah. I think the garments, bro. Those are
it's
hella
key.
important. Yeah.
It's key.
Like I got some like stuff that like shirts that the designs are just weak, but then I just like the shirt.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? So I
fit
just wear
right
it.
or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know what I
exactly.
mean? So
Yep.
I think it's a balance too, man. You know, like I'm the type of person, like after knowing what I know now, and like going through like working with certain vendors and like just learn, even like doing certain jobs that gave me, exposure to this industry somewhat. I love branding, bro. I love the marketing side of things. Like, if the garment is right, that's all I need to know.
Yeah, it's gonna
work.
work.
That's all you should need to know, right? Yeah. Like, that's why it's good to have vendors such as yourself, where it's like you build that relationship, you know they're good for it, you know they can do the work. Because at the end of the day, like you said, you might buy 200 garments or 200 pieces, but you better have a marketing plan and a strategy on how you're going to get that sold, right?
Exactly.
So I think a lot of people sometimes need to just stop focusing on that part of it. If you've got someone who can do it, let them do it, and then go figure out how you're going to sell your shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And again, so that's good for us too, right?
Yeah.
We want you to come back.
Exactly.
So that's why it's worth it. I want to take time with you in the beginning, get it right, so you can sell them. Because that's great for both of us at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just hate. There's other shops and everybody does it different, right? But some people just want the cheapest, and then you just give them the cheapest.
That's
It is what it is. Yeah. So, but I like helping somebody actually figure out, like, it's your clothing line. Like, get it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna do it, man, spend the extra $1 or whatever. Put the size tag printed inside. Label your shit, and so it doesn't say Gildan inside or whatever. So we try to help people with that, just because I think it helps in the long run for them to like be able to move product.
Yeah. That's value though. You're providing value.
We try, and we always tell people. I'll tell people straight up, I don't care about the extra $1. You know what I mean? Like, that's not for me. So if you don't want a size tag, don't do it. It don't make enough difference to me to get. Yeah. But for you, when you go show somebody else is gonna see the value in that. And be able to give you $30 for that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I feel like somebody would look at that and be like, "Oh, they're
just
trying."
more official.
You know what I mean?
It's more
like,
official.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's more official.
Yeah, they wasn't at the mall getting a heat press.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They actually went and got something
made.
made.
Branding, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
I ain't gonna lie. Like, one time I went to Vegas and they had this Yeezy pop-up shop. Man,
he left all the Gildans in.
the Gildan
Yeah,
shirts.
no, I already
bro.
know.
Like, I was like,
I already know.
I walked in there, like, I wasn't planning on buying it. I just wanted to see what it was. I was curious. It's Kanye shit,
Yeah.
I walk in there, I see the shirt. As soon as I touch it, I'm like, no way. And then I'm like, looking, I'm like, it's Gildan.
That's the ultimate troll, man.
That's
He did it
crazy.
to everybody. He was like, yo, give me $200 for a Gildan.
That's crazy. And people were sitting there buying
sold
it,
out.
man.
Sold out.
$80 Gildan t-shirt with Yeezy on it. I was like, bro.
Damn.
It was crazy.
Branding's powerful, man.
Branding is powerful, for
That's
sure.
what I'm trying to tell you, bro.
For sure.
Yeah. So how are you? How do you? Man, I don't even know how to say this, but how do you like adjust to like fashion trends? Because obviously like clothing styles, like before it was all baggy clothes,
exactly.
and now it's like skinnies and tight shirts.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how do you?
It's probably cheaper with skinnier, right?
Nah, you would think, right? So that comes down to us doing our homework too. So we're out researching new vendors all the time to be able to give you guys stuff that's fashion forward, that's ready for this time. Because the wholesale market's usually behind. Like they ain't up on what what's new, right? Because they're trying to service America, middle America, everybody.
Yeah.
They have to sell to millions of people. We're trying to sell to a select group that all dress the way we, or want to dress. So
That's real.
So that's us doing homework on our end, talking to vendors and telling them information to give them feedback on what's selling, what's not. And then as far as designs, usually that's up to the client, right? So he's bringing me the design for the most part. So they're kind of keeping it that way. But there's other tricks, man. We've sized we'll size up so it's an oversized fit. So if you got a large, we'll mark it a medium, or whatever.
Okay.
If you really like that shirt. So there's there's different ways around it that we can help with. But it's really a matter of just us doing the background to get you the right stuff. And that's just again us researching, asking for it, going to trade shows, doing our job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah. Good luck.
No,
Good luck. Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
Do you have you ever been sought out like as a mentor? Because you have a lot of experience. Do people be like, yo, man, take me under your wing? Like,
I got actually this dude works for me, Ocean. He runs 2020, the brand.
Okay.
So this kid came to me when we was in Delaware, our first shop. This kid came to me. He used to skate every day and just want to come in and we'd flip him stickers to go slap up West Seattle, or whatever. And he'd come back, I'd give him a t-shirt for doing it, something like that. He came to me one day and he was like, yo, I want to work here. I was like, bro, you're 14, you're too young. I can't. Like, you're just literally too young.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't think so. And I was like, yo, I pulled him over. We got on the computer. I was like, yeah, you have to have the state sign off, your mama sign off, your school sign off. Bro showed up the next day with everything signed.
Wow.
Damn.
Every fucking paper he needed. And he was like, so can I work here? And I was like, you fucking right, you can. Yeah, you can.
Nah, I feel you.
So I was like, yo, you want to do that? You can do that. And so he's been with me forever. So he branched out for a couple of years, went and did his own thing, but now he's back. Now he's running his own line. And yes, me and him, like, he's you know, I hate saying my son. He's like the little homie though, like for all love, you know. And he's about to kill it. Like he's got something going right now that's different. He's putting a lot of time and effort into it, and so I think he can go. I think he can go.
That's real.
Yeah. So.
No, that's real, man. That's dope, and I think it's important though. It is important to take what you know and pay it forward. That's why I was asking that question.
I love to do that, because what's good with the knowledge if we ain't sharing it, right?
Facts.
Like you want to help everybody.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts, man. I love it, man.
For real.
Story's inspiring, man. Because you know, there's a lot of people out here who are going after things, man, and trying to grind, and you know, everybody, you're always gonna be hit with obstacles. You know what I'm saying? And so it's about how you power through them, man. You know,
that's facts. Yeah.
And reflect on them. You know, I like when we have people on the show, we'll ask questions about like the start and the beginning, and it's interesting how vivid people like can describe those moments. You know what I mean? Because it matters.
They were so real at the time. Like that shit, because that's 10, 11 years ago, and it's like, I see it like it was 2 weekends ago.
Yeah,
you know, like, damn, we was in the van, you know, like,
That,
again, because it meant something.
It's important,
it meant something.
Even the brands you were talking about, like that kind of grew with y'all too. Like over the years, you saw them getting bigger too. That's just like
so now we're doing now we're sending them to Zoomies instead of back to his truck. You know what I mean, or whatever. We packaging them for Zoomies, or, you know. So it's cool to watch. It's really cool to watch, and
stay down, man.
Yeah,
the game tests you, man.
Right. So so that's been fun, man. It's cool to see. Like I've always been somebody that I want everybody to win, honestly, and that's an honest statement. You know, a lot of people say that, but that ain't true.
Yeah.
I got no problem, man. I'm gonna get mine anyway, so I would like you to win too. You know,
exactly,
like, you ain't getting
everybody
in my way.
Eats.
Yeah, you ain't gonna get in my way anyway, so why not have you win too? Like, and if I can help, I'm all for it every time.
Hell yeah, support is key, man.
Support is key.
Seriously,
real, man. You know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I believe that for a long time.
That's real. People bumping outside, man.
Yeah, it's popping. It's popping
out here. Shout out Queen Anne. Yeah, man. Now, where can people? Well, first off, we always give our guests a chance to maybe talk about some things you got coming on the horizon.
Okay.
Maybe if there's anything you want to announce, or if you can tell people where they can pull up to meet you guys if they want to come.
Yeah, for sure. So not right now, man. We just had our move, so we're down in South Park, 7509 Fifth Avenue South. Everybody's welcome to pull up anytime, and as long as we're there, come through. We'll be happy to chop it up with you guys, show you what we're working on. We're out on Instagram with THSTHT. So that without the vowels, so you can come catch us there, man. That shows daily shots of what we're working on in the shop. We highlight and feature clients that are new to establish, so we try to give everybody some love on that.
Gotta balance that out.
Yeah, and so I would say, past that, we're just trying to focus on getting back to work, man. The move took some out of us. We was down for a couple weeks, so right now it's all about the work and just getting back into the flow of things with everybody, cutting those deadlines back, and making it happen. So
solid.
Yeah.
Solid.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, so again, Instagram, man, at THSTHT. Come see us. I don't even think we do Twitter, man, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So just come find us on Instagram.
IG.
Yep, it'll have everything. It'll have everything for sure.
Something's going down.
It's crazy. It's crazy right now.
Trust me, this is not a glitch.
It's happening. It's happening.
Going down. Something going down. I don't know. It's lit though. It's lit.
Yeah.
It's lit. It's like building up the suspense of like the end of the show, bro. It's crazy. What is going on here? But yeah, so they can follow you. Let people know again where they can follow you on Instagram.
Yep, THSTHT.
THSTHT.
Yep.
Just that. Now, before we get you out of here, we always ask this question to all our guests.
Yep.
It's something to kind of cap off what we discussed, and it'll also cast what's ahead. So if you can, my brother, what's one word to describe what keeps you on the up and up?
I would say, honestly, man, probably humility. I think being humble in your craft and being able to dedicate some time to that is something that's just really important. I think a lot of people, like we talked about, man, want to make an excuse or want something to go a little easier. I think once you realize it is all about the work, the process, you have to enjoy the process because the end results are going to come, right? So, but it's that day-to-day grind. It's the 9, 10, 11 hours and then coming to do a podcast at 9 o'clock. It's that kind of shit that happens, right? So I would say if you can be humble about what you're doing, things can change in a heartbeat. So you never want to get too high, too low. You want to just believe in yourself, trust in your craft, and make shit happen.
Yeah.
You can do it. Like, I don't care what nobody says, man. You want to go to work, you can do it.
Facts.
And that's been proven time and time again, not by just me, but by you guys.
Yeah.
It's out there, man.
It's real.
It's out there.
It's
so
real.
yeah. So if you really want something, I would say put your head down, go to work, quit making excuses. Start today, because you ain't getting no more time, and go get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
I love
Humility.
it, bro.
Yeah.
Stay humble.
Let's
I
get
think,
it.
I think that was the first time we got that word.
Yeah,
bro.
that's good.
That's crazy.
That's good.
Yeah, that's
Perfect.
dope.
Perfect timing. Well, Eric, man, I know you're a busy guy. I know you've been grinding. And thank you. Just want to thank you for coming to the show first and foremost, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
Sharing your story,
Appreciate you,
man,
bro.
is very inspiring. Hopefully, those who are listening, hopefully, we inspire one person. You know what I mean?
That's it. That's it.
That's all we ask,
Yep.
man. And you know, people can definitely connect with you and reach out. But yeah, man, much success moving forward.
Appreciate
right?
you.
You know, you got support with us all day. You know, we're gonna tap in for sure.
Yep.
With that being said, I think it's safe to say this, that, and Eric Hodgins are officially members of the UpNUp. Can we get a round of applause?
Hey! Thank you,
sir.
thank you,
Yes,
thank you,
sir.
thank you, thank you.